to welcome us in, Queenie. You always do a good job.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Twitchy, where we are queer and women and do things on Twitch, but we also have ADHD, so Twitchy.
Yeah.
Twitch adjacent. It is what it is, but here we are.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Happy New Year. Also, I meant to ask you this on our first episode, and then I forgot. And then as soon as we got off the call, I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot to ask about the thing I wanted to ask about." But you recently did a fun sleigh Christmas party, and I'm very curious about it.
I had 3 December gigs, all 3 very different, and all 3 were on the very same week.
Oh my gosh,
So I had
it sounds busy.
It was, yeah. I mean, it wasn't as busy as other months. Like October and June are definitely the craziest. But having 3 in 1 week was the most I've had so far since I started. So it was Monday, Friday, and Saturday. Oof. Monday was I don't want to say it was weird, because I had a lot of fun and I would do it again in a heartbeat, but I don't know if I should have been the one booked for that gig.
Yeah.
It was all of the strip clubs in the area, which is a handful, surprisingly. And they had a Christmas party for like all of the like strippers, other employees, like bouncers, bar cat, like all the people had a Christmas party at one of the like nightclubs downtown.
Yeah.
And so they got a bunch of different like performers to come perform for them. And 5 of those performers being drag kings and queens.
I love that so much. I love the idea that the strippers were like, we're taking a day off, but we want to see drag queens. Like, I just think that's amazing.
It would have been amazing if, like, it's just, like, I'm not a dancer, and I'm not, like, a burlesque drag queen. I'm very, like, campy and very kind of, clown. Even, like, my makeup is very clown. And so were some of the other queens that were there with me. They were also kind of, like, campier. We didn't have any dancing divas. And they had other entertainers, too. They got one girl who was from Britain's Got Talent. And, like, I've seen her on TikTok. And she does, like, aerial things. And, like, is, like, a really cool, like, aerialist. Like, one of the things she did is there was, like, a hoop, like, a hula hoop suspended in the air. And she was, like, in the hula hoop and shot a bow and arrow with her feet that was on fire.
I've seen that girl too on TikTok. That's amazing.
So she was there, and then right after she does that, Marv comes out in a Christmas tree wig.
I mean, it's slay. Like, I feel like
it was very strange. Well, and also, like, I don't really give a lot of performance. Like, a lot of the gigs here is, like, you walking around and collecting the tips from people's hands, and, like, kind of, like, having, like, a little, like, moment with, like, tables and stuff. There was a stage, and then they, like, crowded the stage in, like, a horseshoe. So there wasn't, like, a lot of walking around and grabbing bills. They threw. Yeah. Like they do at clubs. So even, like, the strippers aren't used to, like, handing you the dollar. They're throwing them. So 90% of my gig is grabbing the dollar and doing a little wiggle. So since they're throwing it, I'm just like, guess I'll just wiggle under the throat. It was.
See, I love numbers like that, though. Like, one of the most iconic numbers I think I've ever seen was at an alternative drag show called Weird, and it used to be at a club called Crumwork, and it was like, I think maybe it might have been the first drag show I'd ever seen live, right? And I'm there, and there's this queen named Machete who comes out. And she's wearing this, like, she's got, like, a sleek A-line wig that's blonde, like, black lipstick, kind of grungy makeup. And then she's wearing, like, a flesh-colored, it looks like a pillowcase, but it's got, like, sharp corners on her shoulders. And then her arms are, like, tucked into it, right? And it was this song called, I don't remember what it was called, but it was, like, "The people are having sex. This this AIDS thing isn't working. And then it's like that, just like weird phrases like that, just repeated with like dubstep music and like a subwoofer, right? And it's her standing there, and the entire time her arms are like, I was like, is it a reveal? Is she gonna come out of this flesh colored pillowcase? No. She sat there with her arms stuck to her side the whole time and literally served just with like her hair and her looks. And it was like just her turning her head or like tapping her foot or something like that. And it was my favorite. I loved it. I was obsessed with that song for
I want to be
weeks
friends with
after
this
that.
diva. Yeah.
It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. So I'm like if you want to park and bark, I am. If you don't want to touch me, that's totally fine. I'm here for whatever you are serving. You know.
I definitely teeter on like park and bark, but not as like dramatic performance. It's more silly. And I think
Yeah.
if I would have, this is like the second time they've done this gig. They did it last year, but like me and Dolly, like we didn't do it last year, so we didn't have any expectations. So like maybe if I would have known I needed a little more like pizzazz, yeah, maybe a little
Yeah.
more performance, I would have planned better. But it was still a lot of fun. The strippers were very nice. They had a really fun time. The drinks were
Good.
flowing. They had a fun time. I got to perform with one of my like favorite drag kings.
Yay! Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, if anybody needs a good drag king to like follow or like look up, Spiky Van Dyke is amazing. And
Love that name. What
I've
an
seen
iconic
him
name.
perform before, but this is my first time being in a show with him. So he was there, and that's who should have been booked for the show, like 100%. Marv, maybe not so much, but glad I was there.
I think you're selling yourself short. I'm sure you slayed, and I think they all loved it.
It was an interesting show.
I think they loved it.
But Spiky comes out and he has like this like metal chastity belt like penis thing, and then he gets like a sander or like something like that, and it like sparks the penis, and the sparks go flying like 20 feet.
So cool.
Oh, it's so cool every time he pulls it out. But yeah,
that's amazing. I love drag kings, and there's one that performs out here. I think their name is D Dynasty. I've seen them perform a couple of times, and they're like the short, or like there's, I don't want to say like a short person, but like they're maybe 5 foot, maybe a little shorter than that, right? And then they do kind of a burlesque thing where they'll like start taking off like their oversized shirt or whatever, but then they'll strip down to like some boxers, and they just have the most comically large dildo like stuffed in their pants, and it just cracks me the fuck up. I'm like literally a tripod. It's like comical, and like they go around and like they'll like flop it onto a table and stuff, like with it still in the pants, and I'm just like, it's one of those things. I just love drag. I know I've said it probably 1,000 times already. It's our second episode, but I love drag.
I definitely wish there were more drag kings in our area. When I first started, a lot of people were like, why don't you just do drag king stuff? And I was like, I'm not cool enough to be a drag king. Drag kings are on a different level. They're so good. I wish we had more of them.
Yeah. I do too. I do too. And I feel like it's such a sensitive subject, I feel like, of like asking people how they want to present themselves like as a performer and stuff, you know? Like I couldn't, to me, like if you wanted to do drag king stuff, I would say I would totally support you, right? In my mind, I think the drag that I have in mind, like when I think of your drag, I think of hyperfemme drag, or I'm not sure if that's a term that we're still using, but like I you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not doing a good job of explaining myself, but
I feel like there would be more drag kings available if we supported the ones we do have now. I feel like more drag kings would be able to come out, and we would have more to be able to pick from if we supported the ones that we do have and booked them and
110%
gave them the same energy that we do a lot of queens. I just don't think that they get the same energy back that they deserve. And I think that's why people are
Yeah.
scared to do drag king stuff, because they see how hard it is out there to get booked and to be taken seriously as a king. Because I mean, even here, one, we don't have a lot of kings to pick from, but the kings we do have, like, I see
Yeah.
them get booked, but not nearly as much, you know. And I feel like if we booked kings more kings will come forward.
Yeah. And to your point, I feel like drag is predominantly drag
Queens,
queens,
yeah.
you know, where like I feel like drag kings are often considered like an alternative form of drag, and
Kings
that's
and
not really
things
true.
are have not been as highlighted. I mean, look at Drag Race. Like, you know, we've had
Yeah.
one woman on there, and she was still doing drag queen, which was great representation. Like, for me, I was super happy
Yeah.
about
But I
it. But
just think about how like Victoria Scone was like so attacked and ostracized for when she was announced to be on, you know.
oh yeah,
And then
I get
it
Facebook
goes in.
DMs daily, TikTok
Yeah.
comments daily of like, you're just a makeup artist. You're not a drag queen. Like, it's not as interesting, or it's not as, you don't do as much. And I'm like, bitch, I don't do as much. I'm still wearing
Yeah.
pads. I wear like 6 bras. Like, the only difference is I don't tape my dick. Like, and like a lot of queens don't even like really tuck if they're wearing gowns. I mean, some do, but some don't.
Yeah.
So I'm still wearing 2
Yeah.
wigs on my head. I'm still gluing my eyebrows to my forehead. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really frustrating. That part is really frustrating.
Mm.
And yeah, it like bleeds into so many like other topics within like the queer community where like when you're perceived as a woman in a queer space, you're automatically questioned because there's an assumption that you're straight. And, we don't need straight women in our clubs. And I'm like, but I'm not straight, you know? And like, I do have queer culture. I understand the etiquette. I'm not only am I supposed to be here, like, this is a space designed for me, the bisexual, but, like, it,
We could spend a
yeah.
whole episode doing a deep dive on this stuff. I've got
Absolutely,
stories
absolutely.
and ideas and opinions on this. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating. I just saw a TikTok kind of regarding it today where like I don't want to spend like the whole episode on this, but we could share a couple. But I it was a TikTok that somebody had stitched where somebody brought up like straight people being in queer spaces. And like the part that is always frustrating to me whenever somebody brings up the argument is that there's an automatic assumption that we're talking about women in the space. And I'm like, and then it was stitched by a creator or another TikToker um who kind of elaborated on it further, but changed the verbiage used from straight women to cis women. And I'm like, those are two categories of people there. Like you can't like to me there's overlap in those groups, but they're very different. Like a straight woman is not like a straight woman is a somebody not part of the queer community at all, right? Where like you can have a cisgendered woman, like I identify as cisgendered, but I'm still queer. Like I'm still like I'm, these spaces are still for me as well, like I am a queer person. And the whole video was just this guy talking about like instances that he had where he I believe was referring to like instances he had with straight women like coming up to him at clubs and saying he like why are you here, you don't look gay and whatever, which is problematic, like that shouldn't have happened. In my mind though, it was like he kept referring to these women or these people as cis women, which to me is just a different category than straight, you know what I mean?
right.
But
I
yeah.
think we have a lot of responsibility to protect the spaces we do have and to preserve um these safe LGBT businesses and bars and clubs and areas and what have you. But I think if we're so busy shining a flashlight or putting a microscope on every single person's identity that walks in the door, I think that we're not doing it justice of the safe space we're trying to create.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I agree.
you can't tell just by looking at somebody. I know everybody thinks they have gaydar, but
Yeah,
you don't know anybody's reasons for walking in there. So
yeah,
I
it's
think we
very
need to
true.
be put more energy into creating these spaces and preserving them than we do trying to put up barriers for people in our own community to be able to enter those spaces.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I I have a trip coming up in the next 6 months, but I know I'm gonna be hanging around a lot of straight people for a whole week. Like we're gonna be in a house together. And at first I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Like it's a week. I've been around straight people. It'll be fine.
It
And
has been
then
so long since I hung out with straight people.
that's okay. So I was at a get together and there was a straight couple there, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. How am I gonna get through a week? Like, it's not that I
Yeah.
dislike straight people, it's just different,
It
you
has been
know?
so long since I've like had to interact with straight people that we went to a party, like a wedding shower party. Even Arturo was like, "These people are boring."
Yeah.
Arturo was like, "I
And I feel
forgot how
like
boring these people
it's
were."
it's partly because just, I feel like queer culture is so colorful and accepting.
It
But
feels
the other
almost like
part of it,
masking.
yes. And the other part of it is that like I grew up super conservative, religious, purity culture. And so seeing people who like still have those thoughts and those like that line of thinking,
Yeah,
I'm
hard
like,
to relate to.
it's so hard to relate to. And it like triggers me of like, oh my God, I used to be like this. I used to be this girl. Like it's weird.
Yeah, that would be hard.
But I I keep asking my partner, I'm like, because the people we're going to be around are still really religious and stuff like that, like obey modesty rules and stuff. And I've been like picking out things in my closet of like, what do I think I can wear that will get the least amount of negative attention?
Yeah.
Because like I can't wear shorts. Anything above the knee is a no-go, so I can't wear shorts. And usually I'll wear shorts with like fishnets. I'm not gonna I can't wear that. That's way too out there. But on New Year's I wore these velvet leopard print bell bottom pants, and I was like, oh, I
Ooh.
could take these. Like it's gonna be the dead of summer, me wearing these like leopard print bell bottoms, being like, hello, I'm here, fellow straight people. Oh, it's just I'm like, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. But, we'll do our best.
Yeah, it's all about deciding about the conversations you want to have. Because if you wear something that you might would normally wear and would want to wear, like, is it going to start a conversation you want to have with these people?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
maybe, but then like at the same time, like I don't want every conversation to be like a learning thing, like an educational moment for somebody else. Like I also just kind of want to
Yeah.
be able to get done with the evening and go home.
Yeah, and I'm not so much worried about like the questions, but I know there's going to be like passive aggressive comments, like
Right.
even with the leopard print pants, it'll be something like, "Wow, those are some pants." And I'm like, "Do am I emotionally, like do I want to deal with that,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just buy some mom jeans and
No, there's
wear the t-shirts I
nothing
have
wrong about
that don't
mom
have.
jeans.
Exactly. Yeah.
Aw.
I'll just enter my mom era for the week.
What's our
But
next
anyway,
question, Queenie? What's on the list today?
yes, I was just gonna say, let's go. I there was one that I think is really funny. What old person things do you do?
Oh my god. All of them.
So many?
I have really bad gray hairs in my 20s. Like, the second I turned 20, I started getting gray hairs. So that's why my hair's blonde right now, is because like, that's not a bald spot. Like, that's not my skin. That's, like, all gray hair right there. So I have a lot of grays.
That's cool. I gray hair is cool.
It would be nice if it was, like, all of it, but it's just, like, in these one little, like, patches. And so it's, like, I can't get, like, a cool, like, Michelle Visage streak or anything like that. I've tried to, like, dye my whole head gray, but, like, I have too much red undertone that, like, the stylist was like, "There's no way, baby."
Yeah.
I go
So
to
gray hairs.
I sleep early, go to bed early. I'm not a
I
night
mean,
owl.
what's the truth, Ellen? Because you just said that you went to bed at 4 a.m.
I feel like death today. I feel literally hungover today from just staying up late. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't drink, like, didn't party.
I totally know what you mean. Yeah,
But I get body aches. I
the
hate
body aches are real.
I do late drag shows, but they're the bane of my existence. I'd rather do an earlier gig. The late gigs
Like
are
a
nice.
6 o'clock or like a
Yeah,
brunch.
I love a brunch. Even though, like, waking up early to do the makeup sucks, it's nice to be done early.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an old person sleeper. Those are probably, like, the oldest traits I have. I get told I'm the mom of, like, the
Mhm.
friend group all the time if we ever go out. Like, even when I am, like, am having fun, the second someone, like, is about to clock out, like, I sober up immediately. I call the Uber. I get water in everybody. I, like, charge everyone's phones. Everyone's in the right bed. Like, I don't know what it is. I just, like, it's like a flip. I think it's a Southern thing. I think
It
it's
might
the
be a
Southern
Southern thing.
hospitality thing in me where I'm like, all right, time to turn it on. Got a
To me,
mom.
it's a nurse thing, and I've tried
Oh,
really
yeah.
hard to like condition myself out of it because it's like the worst is when somebody comes up and they're like, "Ugh, I just have this pain," and I'm like, "You have a pain? What?" And then it's like there's a railway a train on a track, and it's like I can either choose to have a normal conversation or I choose to pursue the nursing, and I try to teeter the line and be like, "Oh, that's interesting. What does it feel like?" Which is a nursing question. Would you say it feels stabby or like achy?
You're, like, going
Um,
down the checklist of, like,
yeah,
WebMD in your head.
literally doing like a head to toe and like casual
Diagnosis.
conversation.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing, but yeah, it was weird because in nursing school, I was the oldest one of our group, and like I at the time I didn't drink, but my friends asked for me to DD one night, and they were like, it was like herding cats, like they were
Oh,
just
yeah.
all over the place, and I'm like, you sit, stay. What are you doing? Where did you find that? Give that back. That's not yours. Like hands to yourself. And then I turned back around, and my friend was there was like a little like half flight of stairs going up to a doorway. She's at the top of it. And she's like, "I can jump from here." And I said, "No." And she as she leapt in the air, like dancer-esque split leg, like wearing these boots, just totally 21 and blacked out. And of course she biffs it and rips her tight. She's bleeding all over the place. And I go over and I was like, the hopelessness that was in my face, like that came over my entire body as I see her like descending through the air. I was like, "Oh no." It was like the TikTok sound, the "oh no.
Oh,
Oh
no,
no.
no, no, no,
No,
no.
no." Yeah, it was like that except real life. And before that even like the TikTok was a sound. But so I like patch her all up, and then I like turn around, my other friend's gone, but so I had like that same similar experience to you, but now in my current friend group, I'm the baby, and it's
Mm.
so nice. Everyone's nice to me, and like I'm just like I feel like I call them my brother brigade because they're like my brothers. They're like my chosen family now, and they just take the best care of me. And it's like two of them have very different personalities. There's Kinetic or Kyle, and then my friend Luke, and both on Twitch. And so it was Luco's edibles. I did an edible. I had the weed for the first time on New Year's Eve, and it was Luco's edible. And just both of them had the same like mission of like make sure Queenie's okay, but they were going about it totally different ways. Where Kyle was very much like a every few minutes, like a can I get you anything? Or how are you feeling? And then Luco would be like right behind him, and I was like, Kyle's like, "Can I get you anything?" I was like, "My mouth does feel a little dry," and he was like, "Oh, you need some water because weed dehydrates you." And Luca's right behind him. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, get her some water, get her some extra water." But it was just like my gay dad's like taking care of me while I'm high for the first time. It was so funny and just so great. But
I miss being the baby. I used to be the
it's
youngest. Now I'm the
it's
oldest.
so it's so nice.
It's not fun
Just
being
get
the
older
oldest.
friends.
It's not fun.
I know. It is really nice. Yeah, they're all very sweet to me. Oh, I don't have it. Usually, the blanket I have at my desk is one that one of my other brother brigade members gave to me.
Aww.
It's very cute. But anyway, okay. So, do you do any other old people things? I like that you're wearing a cardigan. I feel like that's kind of like an old man thing.
I'm always in a cardigan.
It's adorable.
I love to keep my house cold so that I can like bundle in layers. I'm always in a cardigan. That might be another old person thing I did. Even when I worked in the office, I would have like 6 cardigans at my like in the office at all times. So that I
Yeah.
have a car cardigan just in case I forgot one.
A car cardigan.
Oh, or if I brought one of my work cardigans home and then I don't have enough options, it's nice to have the car cardigan. Like I have one in this office at all times. There's one
That's
always
a
hanging
spirit.
up by the door in case I'm about to leave and I forgot to put on a cardigan. I have a lot of cardigans. Yeah,
Your emergency stash of cardigan.
That's my other old thing.
I think the only thing that could make that older is if you were to say, you started knitting them.
I tried
That's
knitting.
your next step.
I tried knitting, but I could only do scarves. I could only go straight. Like I couldn't like go off and do cool things.
Maybe crochet is your path. I've never crocheted clothes, but it's possible.
I would love the time to have another hobby.
Oh my god, true. Accurate.
If I had the
Me
time.
with like just beyond my camera, there's just shelves of abandoned hobbies, and it's fine.
If I panned over, I'll do it after we stop recording, but my desk right now looks like I shot a drag queen.
I can kind of see in the reflection of the window, like not too much, but just like I see the makeup bags, the scraps of things.
Oh, thank God, it's cropped in my overlay. Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. And I have a different camera that you're viewing than what they're viewing.
I do see a toothbrush
for eyebrows.
Oh,
yeah.
I just got a different brush. It was recommended to me though.
Sometimes I use that one depending on like how yeah, I really like the tooth combed. Yeah,
I have one of those too, and I like that one a lot. How long would you last in a zombie apocalypse?
Long. I live in the South, baby.
Think so?
Yeah,
that's true. That's accurate.
I grew up with a very paranoid father, paranoid about the government. So he's like one of those people that like believes they're watching us. It took my mom years to be able to have an Alexa in the house. So like we have like a stash of like canned food should anything go wrong. Say if it snows more than an inch here, that's like Armageddon here. My dad really wants to build like a bunker on like some like random property that we have nothing on right now. He just wants to build a bunker. We watched a lot of Doomsday Prep when I was younger. Yeah, I feel like I would do well in the South. I am like not a gun person, don't own a gun for restrictive policies, all that. But like I can shoot a gun. Yeah. If it needs to come to that, my Southern will come out and I will be able to shoot I've taken like bow and arrow classes.
Yeah.
Survival
I have done
skills.
bow and arrow classes. I did work briefly at a trap shoot place when I lived in Utah. It was like up in the mountain and stuff, so I did have my fair share of gun experience, but
yeah, I'm not just Southern, I'm like Appalachian Mountains country.
Oh, yes, that is very Southern. Appalachian Mountain, Southern Doomsdayer, that is the league of
That's
their own.
when people are
That's
like,
the
"Oh,
one
you're
we
from the
aspire to
South." I'm
be.
like, "Yeah, I'm from the South." No, honey, I'm from Appalachian country. Like,
The mountain men you used to hear, that was me.
one of my
Yeah.
mom's like high school stories that she used to tell me was this guy was trying to take her out on a date and he would like write her love notes and one of the notes was like, "I'll teach you how to skin a squirrel." And if that doesn't explain the area that like I am from, um
Yeah.
I feel like I would kick ass in a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
they
I feel
filmed all the Walking Dead stuff like in the city I grew up in.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Terrifying but cool. My I feel like I th- I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I do have a decent fair bit of skills that would be useful in a zombie apocalypse, you know, like being a medical provider. It's
Oh,
like I
yeah.
might not be a doctor, but I can get you out of pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um
I mean this in the
and
nicest way too, and this is gonna be a compliment, Queenie. You seem like a forager. I feel like you could go out in the woods and know exactly like what berries you could eat.
that is so funny. I don't have any practical experience foraging, but I do love the idea.
You
And
give off that
also
vibe that you would be able to do
so
it.
so one time one of my therapists, I saw a therapist when I was in nursing school, and she like dead ass one time was like, I think you could be dropped from a helicopter into a forest and we would find you surviving. You're
Yeah.
just so like she's like, you're just so resourceful that whatever your circumstances are, you find a way. And
I feel
at
like
the
you would
time I
Snow
was like
White it though. Like I feel like you would befriend the little woodland creatures and they like you would be running that shit in the forest.
like the Revenant if it was a Disney movie, like I befriend the bear and just
Yeah.
become a bear woman.
Yeah.
Like
That's the vision I see for you in the apocalypse.
well, thank you.
Mhm.
I the other thing, this is more kind of a conspiracy theory ish thing. I feel like I feel like there's two types of people who are going to survive in a apocalyptic situation, but I think the upper hand would go to one party over the other. So you have like doomsday preppers who have like their own personal bunkers like out in private property, like a place they can go where they'll be self-sufficient. But then I think there's the other side that I imagine would have a slight upper hand because like a lot of hospitals, a lot of like cities, a lot of places that are designed for people to go to have like deep underground networks.
Mm.
They have a bunch of storehouses. They have you know, emergency generators and stuff like that. So to me, there are two places that I would go to if a zombie apocalypse was happening. One would be Costco, and the other would be a hospital. Because a hospital is going to have literally everything you can imagine, right? They've got food, they've got medicine, they've got underground areas, they've got areas designed to withstand, you know, all kinds of things, right? Like
I think I
storm
would pick
shelters.
Costco though. I think that's a I yeah.
Yeah. But I think either way, if you went to Costco or to a hospital, you're gonna be fine. And I feel like in a bigger landscape like that, I feel like you have a little bit of an upper hand because like some if a hospital's standing, right? Like if it doesn't get totally destroyed in the apocalypse, like they're still gonna have the underground, which I think is safe. But if you have a bigger area where you can have like higher ground, I feel like that is a game changer where like that gives you an advantage over like these people who just have like
Mm.
their capsules in the woods, you know? Like both I think would be safe, but then like eventually, even if it's years later, you're going to have to leave your capsule to come back to society, right?
I see your hospital and your Costco and I raise you an IKEA.
IKEA would be good, but I guess they do have food. But what about
Food
medical
court.
supplies?
I bet one of those rooms in IKEA they've got set up is a fake hospital.
You just start taking apart the furniture and using that as medical supplies.
Yeah, I could see it. But and also how it's laid out, even if a zombie got into that IKEA,
It's
they're
a
gonna be
fucking maze.
it's a
They're gonna get
labyrinth in
lost picking out
there.
their furniture on the bottom floor in the warehouse.
Yeah, they're never gonna make it
That's
up to the
true.
upper decks that I'm in. So yeah, I think
That's
I
true.
would IKEA.
I love that though. I think the biggest insult that I've ever gotten was somebody who said um they wouldn't pick me for their zombie apocalypse team.
No, I'd pick you.
Thank you.
We would run that IKEA. Those Swedish meatballs, we would.
I've never had them. Is that terrible?
They're not good.
Oh. Okay.
But we'd be living off of them, so. I feel like it would sustain us. I feel like there's enough
Yeah.
ingredients in that meatball where we get all the vitamins we need. We wouldn't get scurvy.
Yeah, we'd be fine. Who do you think would, out of the people you know, who do you think would not fare well in a zombie apocalypse and why?
Dolly B. Wellington.
Your mom.
And she doesn't watch our own damn podcast, so I know she's not gonna watch this one. So I'll just say her name. She would not live.
I'm gonna message her like unprompted on Instagram and be like, it's gonna be a link to this video, and
she still won't watch it. Don't worry. She still
won't watch it. It'll be a timestamp and be like.
She would be one of those people. The second it hit the news, she would be like, "I'm out." Like, all right, that's it. Like, I'll just walk into the ocean. She would put weights on her ankles and walk into the ocean. Then have to figure out how to survive without DoorDash and beauty supply stores. Yeah, I think she'd be the first to go.
Yeah,
she knows it. I don't think she would argue with me. But yeah, she'd be the first to go. Actually, I think she would get in drag and then like willingly turn into a zombie so that she'd be like the most fab zombie out there. So she would be immortalized,
slaying the game.
Yeah, she would like find her nicest wig, glue that shit down so that shit's not coming off of her. Full glam makeup, like, and then nicest gown, get bit, and be like, "This is me now." She'd be the fiercest. All the other zombies would be tipping her the dollars, and she'd be happy. I think that would be the happiest outcome for her in a zombie
Instead
apocalypse.
of her like doing like a jaggered walk, she's duck walking.
It's more of a pageant. It's a very back piece. Yeah, that would be the. She'd be living.
Oh my gosh.
Dead.
The face, or like the reveal is her like lifting up her falling flesh and revealing her skull underneath.
Yeah, she would be slaying physically and metaphorically. I think that would be the best outcome for her. What about you? Do you think Fudge? You think Fudge would survive?
I think so, because everyone likes Fudge. He's very like
a zombie wouldn't want to bite him. They'd be like, "No, you're just a fun-looking guy."
So nice.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Nah."
No, he's like very tall and like burly. Also very handy. He's like a jack of all trades kind of a guy.
He'd be like, building our furniture at IKEA.
He'd be building the furniture. He'd be my sous chef. He'd be my sous chef if it were a nursing position. You know, like he's always game. You know, and I feel like he's very like
he's down to clown.
I tell him this. What did you say?
He's down to clown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like he's also very charismatic, where I feel like people would naturally be like, "Fudge, what do you think?" And he would be like inclined to lead just because of how nice he is and stuff like that. He's also great at small talk, and I'm so jealous about it. Like he could just talk to people on the elevator, and I feel like I tried to say like, "Hello, how are you?" and I just say something so outlandish, you know, like I would wear your dog's fur as a coat because it's so pretty. You know what I mean? Like it's a compliment. It's a nice thing to say, but like when you say it, you sound ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I want people to tell me in the elevator, though.
I'm taking notes. Or like, so our apartment has 2 elevators right next to each other, and we were in one getting home. And the one that we were in, it's like kind of a clear shot into the hallway where our apartment is. And there's another one that's just to the side of it, but like depending on your angle, you might not see that it's opening or whatever. So I start anime running, you know, like Naruto, like the arms behind you, like running
mad dash
the elevator. Yeah. And I didn't know that there was a person in the other elevator that had gotten out just behind us.
They got to watch you Naruto run.
Yeah. And so Dan comes in and he shuts the door and he's laughing, and I was like, "What are you laughing at?" And he was like, "You didn't see, but there was a person behind us that saw you Naruto run it's out of the elevator." And I was like, "They probably think I'm like just a mess, like just a child, adult. I'm three raccoons in a trench coat, you know."
That would have made my day.
He said that like they just looked at each other and smirked or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm embarrassed. Yeah, I think like that's kind of embarrassing, you know? I don't
Nah,
know.
I'd do it again. Bop, bop,
Bop, bop, bop.
bop.
Okay. What is a commercial jingle that gets stuck in your head all the time?
Oh, 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 O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Bam!
Okay. Do you always say it just like that?
No, sometimes I say O'Charlie's if I pass an O'Charlie's, and then it
What's an
becomes
O'Charlie's?
it's a restaurant.
Oh, what do
It's
they
kind of
have?
like a shittier Applebee's. Which yeah, and I know exactly what I'm saying because Applebee's is already kind of bottom tier. Chili's though, Chili's is really good. O'Charlie's.
Chili's is nice. Chili's has good chips and salsa.
Chipotle. Oh yeah, their chips and salsa is great, and their Chipotle chicken crispers are really
Oh,
good.
yes. They're so good.
Also,
I like the Big Mouth bites.
oh
I will never go to Applebee's though.
no, I'm not an Applebee's fan, and that's like my hometown. Like that's where people would like go to like hang out and like drink, and I'd be like, ugh, lame. But there's one law firm here in the city I live in, and this is not an exaggeration, Queenie. Like when people come and visit me, like they own every billboard here in town, and their billboard is Lackey Law Firm, and then firm is crossed out, and under it is family. So every time I pass one, I say, "Is that the Lackey Law Firm?" And then I scream, "No, that's the Lackey Law Family." And they have commercials on the radios and like but they have. I'm not kidding. Like even like driving out of town an hour, I will still see their billboards for like an hour driving. They own
That's some
every
dedication.
there was one time where we were like maybe like we drove like 2 hours away. We were like going towards Atlanta and we're coming back. And I think from just like maybe like 100 miles out of town to our house, 15 billboards. 15.
Goodness gracious.
And they have more. That was just on the one road we were on. They're amazing. And I want to I want to like incorporate it into a drag number because I know everyone in this town knows all their billboards, has heard the commercials. And I'm like, I will not be satisfied until I do a Lackey Law Firm number somehow. And I'll be like, Lackey Law Firm? No.
Hysterical.
Lackey Law Family. And when Robbie and Ryan came to visit me, they thought it was a joke until they saw how many billboards. And they were like, oh my God, the Lackey Law Family is fabulous. They are the divas of this town. They own this town. Every time I get injured, I'm like, call the Lackey Law Firm. Call them. Call those divas up. They are doing something right.
I need my family.
They're so good. But then there was one drama where it's like 2 guys and a girl, and then one billboard, it was a new woman. And I was like, new wife? Divorce? Lackey Law Family? What's going on? We need a TV
it's a
show.
Sister-in-law?
We gotta mic them up. We've got to put a camera on them, and I've got to know how these divas live.
A reality TV show that just follows the family.
Yeah, my goal in life, I will have reached my career peak if I ever do like marketing or anything for this. Honestly, I would probably walk in and be like, change nothing, y'all are fantastic, just let me help in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Because y'all are doing everything right. Because I know exactly who you are.
Have you considered putting on a lash? Like, put them in drag. That would be funny. Lackey Law Family Drag.
I need to find them on Facebook and add them and, like, start inviting them to the gigs. Because, like, those are the divas I want to, like, hang out with here in this town. Is the Lackey Law Family.
That'd be funny. I get jingles stuck in my head all the time, but I refuse to sing them correctly. So, it's like O'Reilly's, but instead of auto parts, I'll say, like, auto farts.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, sharts. Any other word that rhymes but isn't the actual word, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that one gets in my head a lot. I'm sure that there's others, but I can't think of any right now.
Once you start singing the O'Reilly's one, it's hard to think of any other jingle.
Yeah, or so Dollop of Daisy. Do a dollop of Daisy.
I used to think it was $1.
Activia.
$1 of Daisy.
Yes.
That confused me.
$1 of Daisy. how much is $1?
Do you remember the
The whole thing is
commercials
$3.
of that girl going to online college, and it was like
Yeah,
always like a tune.
education
Yeah.
connection. Yeah.
Get
Or the
connected
other one,
for free.
free
Yeah.
with education
Connection.
connection.
Now
Or the
that
other
is,
one is
I'm putting that in a drag mix. Queenie.
you should.
That's so
No, the other
good.
one,
God damn
the other
it.
one that gets the other one that was from like 2006 that gets stuck in my head all the time is F to the R to the E to the E to the C to the R to the E D I T free to the
What the fuck are you
free
spelling?
report.com. Come
Oh.
on, everybody, get your back and sing along. Say F to the R to the E to the E to the
Free credit.
Whip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, freecreditreport.com. Yeah. They
Classic.
had so many that were so good. And like there was like evolution with the band, you know, like the same it was like the same group, but like the first one they're like at a pizza shop, like you know, working side hustle job to pay their bills. And then like
they up
they
the
get
budget.
their credit report, you know, figured out, and they start working on their credit, and then like they end up being like super music stars or whatever.
Good
Yeah.
for them. Good
Little
for
thing.
them. Yeah.
Good for them. Make a movie about that band.
I'd watch
Or
it.
not.
I'd watch it.
Okay, what dance move are you secretly awesome at?
Queenie. I mean, I love all of the queens here, and so we always like kind of not make fun, but like we always kind of joke about like each queen's like signature move that they do. Like when Dolly hits a high note, she like really like pushes out her hands and like hits the high note. And then like another one of like our good friends, like another queen, Megan, like she does like a back bend to like get $1. And so we're like, oh, it's the Megan back bend. And so I asked one day, I was like, what is mine? And apparently in like every number I do, I just kind of do like a little shimmy down. And they said like, yeah, that's the Marv, is like when you're doing a little shimmy down. I'm like, all right, I guess that's mine. Also, I bump my boob a lot at like comedic timing in songs. I'll just kind of be like, bump, womp womp. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of my thing. But I'm not a dancer, Queenie.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I'm not a dancer either, but I
can
know
floss.
One dance move. The way that you just stole my brain cell.
Is that
I know one dance move, and I know it very well. And I use it. I think it's stimming. I think that's what they call it these days. Like I have ADHD, so like we'll just be waiting for the elevator, just flossing, you know.
Yeah, I can floss,
but I couldn't do it for a long time. And then somebody I met on Twitch, shout out to Wild Tess, yo, but he was doing it, and I was like, how do you do that? And he taught me, and that now it's stuck in my brain forever. I'll be flossing when I'm dead.
Whenever I do like an icebreaker and it's like 2 truths and a lie or whatever, one of mine that I always get to say is I won a dance off in front of 20,000 people. And I did, because in college, the college I went to was really big in Greek life, and so they had like a big like dance competition that was called Doodah. And so like we would like send like the best girls in our sorority who were like knew how to dance, and they would like do a dance. But in between the numbers, they would call like whoever wanted to come up on stage and like dance like would win. And so I was mentally exhausted because I was on our exec board, and I got like pushed to the front. And for 3.5 minutes I can't remember the song, I just stood there and flossed for 3.5 minutes of the entire song. And I won the crowd vote. So I won a dance.
I love that.
I won a dance off in front of 20,000 people.
That is amazing.
I won a t-shirt.
Was it a white t-shirt? What are 2 things you consider yourself very bad at?
Dancing.
Dancing? Do you have any others?
Spanish.
Real.
No hablo
So
muy
real.
bien, pero puedo leer y escribir un poco, porque mi esposo es de Venezuela, pero mi acento es muy mal.
Yeah.
Y mi profesor es muy malo. Arturo teaches me nothing. He'll say something in Spanish, and like I'm trying to learn. I want to learn another language. So he'll say something, I'll be like, oh my god, okay, what does that mean? Like, where can I use that in a sentence? And he'll go, it means a lot of things. And I'm like, God damn it. So like whenever he talks to his parents, I know they're talking shit about me. I know they are. I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear the Marv, and I'm like, I know you're talking shit. I know it. I can hear it. Like,
That would
but I
send
can't.
me into a spiral.
I can't speak Spanish very well. Tried, took it in school, elementary school, all the way up to took a
Yeah.
college class. Still
I
suck.
I dated somebody whose family was from Mexico, and they all spoke Spanish to each other, and I tried really hard to pick it up, and I'm pretty good. I can put pieces together, especially if like somebody who is learning, like I understood pretty much all of what you said. Um,
Mm.
like you're pretty good at it, but like your sentence structure isn't great, but you
Yeah,
don't
I
have
can
great
I
teachers.
can read and hear better than I can speak. But I will
Yeah.
say, like, so I'm one of my jobs. I don't know if you know this. One of my jobs, I'm a travel agent. Um,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So I have a 9 to 5, and then one of my other jobs is I'm a travel agent. I mostly only do like honeymoons. I've done a few destination weddings. That reminded me of an email I need to send when we hang up.
Oh,
But I've been to Mexico a couple of times the last few years because that's my favorite place to go is Mexico. It's my favorite place to send people. It's my favorite destination. I love going. Because I think the people are like the friendliest people. It's
yeah.
one of those beautiful destinations. The food amazing, culture phenomenal. And I like every time I'm there, I'm so impressed with how much I'm like able to speak Spanish there because I feel like they speak in an accent that's very easy for American ears. I feel like to pick up
Yeah.
on, and
Hmm.
it's not as fast paced as like some other Spanish speaking countries.
Yeah.
Um, so I do tell people I'm like if you have like the least bit of Spanish knowledge, like do go to Mexico because it'll surprise you like how far you can actually get.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to learn French, and I have this goal. It's a lot it gets loftier every day because time keeps moving, but I don't keep practicing. I decided when I was 26 that it would be cool to be a polyglot by the time I'm 30. Now I'm 28 and I'm not a polyglot. And I speak English and a little bit of Spanish and a little bit of French.
Do you Duolingo? I have friends
I
that are
do.
yeah.
But I it broke my heart. Duolingo ruined my life. Not clickbait, emotional. I had done it every day. I was doing it religiously, right? I was doing my 10 minutes every day. I had a streak that was over 100, right? And then I think we got sick with COVID, I think is what it was. And I missed too many days in a row. And usually like sometimes when you log in, even if it's been a couple of days, it'll be like spend all of your gems to keep your streak, but
Mhm.
it didn't give you the option. I was like, I would have given you money, cash money to keep my streak. It was over 100, and it didn't. And I was so upset about it. Like it literally had been 4 months, right?
Yeah.
And like I was so upset that I lost my streak that I haven't done it since. I've done it like once
I have
since
a
then.
friend
But
she's a Duolingo fiend.
yeah. I saw it was like a commercial or something, but it was like these girls were getting like attacked in their house. Like there was somebody it was a parody kind of thing. Like there's an intruder in the house and they're hiding under the bed and they both get the notification for Duolingo like it's time for their lesson. And so they're like doing it really quietly under the bed and like the murderer comes in and is like I can hear you. And they're like, it's my Duolingo streak. I'm at 90 days. And I was like, honestly, T, like so relatable. But yeah.
I don't
I would
have
say
the patience. I'm barely keeping my snap streaks like alive. I don't think I could do Duolingo.
I don't have snap streaks. I haven't opened Snapchat in 2 years.
I have a 12-year-old sister. That's like the only way I can communicate with
Oh,
her. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I should see if my step sibling has Snapchat. But I would say two things that I'm really bad at. Object permanence.
oh,
If I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
the amount
And
of times I lose this vape, Queenie,
yeah,
is astronomical.
things
That's
that
hard. Object
I
permanence is hard.
it is hard. And they're like, babies can do this. And I'm like, bullshit.
Those are like
Like,
the worst ones at it. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I'm an adult and I can barely do it. I had to like I did the thing where you rearrange your fridge so all of your sauces are in a drawer and all of your fruits and veggies are in the
I saw that
um
TikTok. I could never because I have too many sauces.
we have a big ass drawer and it's full. It's so full. But it helped a little.
Did it?
Yeah, but now I just
Yeah.
don't want to open my fridge because then I'm like, well, I have to eat healthy because they have all these vegetables in there, you know?
Mm.
And so we end up ordering out and letting everything rot anyway. But yeah, exactly. I would say that is definitely a thing. And what's something else I'm terrible at? I feel like, is this too real? I feel like
Are we getting too real
um
on the pod?
am I getting too real in the pod? Um like viewing myself outside of myself, I think is like it's hard for me to imagine how other people's or like how an outfit looks on me or like how I look in an outfit. I'm like, I feel like this may be slay, but maybe I look ridiculous.
I
You know
was
what I
about to
mean?
say that might be a
Or like,
slay to like have that because if you're so busy thinking about how others are perceiving you, I feel like that's more of a downfall.
yeah. Maybe it ties into like delusion and stuff like that. But there are times where it's like
We are getting too real. We're getting too real.
there are times where like I'll put an outfit together and I'm like, oh, this works. And then sometimes I put an outfit together and I'm like, I don't know. Or like going back through Twitch VODs to look for clips, I'm like, there are things that make me laugh and I'm like, is this funny or am I just an idiot? You know what I mean? Like am I laughing at this because it's like actually comical or like
No, we're getting too real. We're getting too real.
reel it back in. Reel it back in.
Too relatable. It's too relatable.
Undo. Edit that part out, and then we'll just clip from where I started that sentence to me saying like, "I'm really bad at calculus and quantum physics. It's things I don't understand." Or like, this is another real one. I'm bad at putting down TikTok. I will scroll on that app until it tells me not to, which is like hours. Like,
Yeah, every time that little guy pops up and he's like, "Stop! You've been scrolling." I'm like, "You better shut up."
my
I don't
favorite
even want to hear
is
it.
the lady who's like, "Hey, you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Why don't you take some deep breaths with me?" And I'm like, "Okay,
You
I
know what?
will."
Maybe you're right. Maybe I
You're
should
right.
take some
You're
deep
right.
breaths.
I haven't been breathing for the last 2.5 hours. But yeah. All right,
TikTok is
we'll
a
do.
rabbit hole.
Yes, but it made me gay, so it's nice. What is your favorite smell and why?
That's hard, Queenie.
Yeah, it is a hard one. I feel like for me, oh sorry,
No, no, no.
if
You
you
go. My wheels are not turning because I have, or they're
hamster.
turning too much. I don't know. You go.
I feel like my favorite scents depend on the season. And when I think of scents,
Mm.
I think of like candles. And so I like want a Bath and Body Works candle, but I want it to go with the season. So like
Fair.
my one of my favorite for like summertime I want something fruity like a you know pineapple candle or a watermelon candle. For fall, I want something that's like a little more spicy, like a pumpkin spice or an
Mm-hmm.
apple spice,
Why is it
something like
spicy?
that.
Yeah.
Why is it spicy? Yeah. And then like for springtime, I want something a little bit more floral. But my favorite out of all of the
Florals for spring.
seasons, groundbreaking. Please move at a glacial pace. You know how that thrills me. I could quote that whole movie. I love The Devil Wears Prada.
Such a good movie.
um, that's another way. If that's your favorite movie, if you like The Devil Wears Prada, you're gay. You're queer for sure.
Yeah, we just watched Death Becomes Her recently too. We've been on a Meryl Streep kick over here.
She's so good.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, but my favorite out of all of the seasons, I love winter scents, and I specifically love like a fresh balsam or like a tree farm, like something that I love, that like spicy balsam smell. Oh, so good. Or like pine. It's nice.
My winter one I get from Bath and Body Works is I think it's like toasted marshmallow. And it
That
sounds
one is
like it would
so
be
good.
too sweet or like it would be too strong, but it just fills the room like so perfectly. But
The other
the
one I love. Oh, sorry,
no, no,
sorry.
no. I do like different scents too throughout the seasons, but what I gravitate towards like the most or like what's like my basic one I always go for like the clean linens. So
Mm.
like the ocean waters, clean like the candles that are white or light blue. Those are like what's in
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
house at all times. But then I'll bring out like the festive ones,
I don't mind those, but my partner hates them.
yeah.
And so now
Escándalo.
I've started to dislike them because I don't know. I'm just an empath, and so when somebody doesn't like something, I pick up on, I sense it and I absorb it. I'm an empath. Um but I don't know. The the other one I love, toasted marshmallow, is so good.
It's a good one.
Hot cocoa cream.
Another good one. Similar.
So,
Similar
like
vibes.
just chocolate. And I have a
Mhm.
very specific image. I want it to be an overcast rainy day in the fall, maybe wintertime. But I want that candle lit, and I want to watch Murder on the Orient Express with Kenneth Branagh.
Ooh.
It's so cozy. And
Yeah.
then you can make little treats. And it's just so nice. You have popcorn and you smell the chocolate. It's so good. I love it. I cry every time I watch that movie.
Good movie.
Anyway,
Good
it's a good
candles.
one. Good candles.
Yeah.
Good sense.
Mm.
Common
Mm.
sense, even.
What is this one? I have this one that is this one's Georgia scented. So it's like peaches and it smells good. It smells like
Like George's the drag queen?
no, Georgia.
Georgia. I thought you said
No.
Georgia scented.
I'm not far
Georgia
from
scented.
I'm not
Got
far
it.
from Play, which is where George's like hometown bar is. It's in Nashville, which is like an hour from
Uh-huh.
here. And
Oh,
I can
that's
tell
not
you that
bad.
place does not smell like peach sweet tea. This is what this smells like.
Read
It's
her
good.
profile. Read
No,
her
Play
how
smells
down
good. It
who.
just smells like a bunch of hookers. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh
Yeah.
definitely Ariana Grande perfumes and that's kind of more the scent there.
London, in her drag bag, will keep some body spray, and usually is a nice smelling one, but I hate the smell of vanilla. Like I love it in
Mhm.
baking, but like the fake vanilla scent, it just gives me a headache. And so if I'm ever helping her pack her bag, if I see it, if I'm picking the body spray, or if she asks me to hand her one, I'm not handing her that vanilla.
Vanilla is a popular scent among drag queens. I won like a perfume and it smells nice, and so like that's what I wear in drag because it was free and I can just like spray a lot of it and not feel bad.
Yeah.
Dolly wears a lot of white diamonds.
Oh.
So people get into Arturo's car and think that he's cheating on me because it just smells like white diamond in there. But it's a strong perfume, a little bit old lady, a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's what they
I love that though.
Dolly smells like.
When a queen smells good as they walk by or as they're dancing by,
Oh, we spray our
it's high
hands.
fantasy.
You always spray
High
your hands
fantasy
right
for
before
me.
you go out there, so when you grab the dollar, they smell it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's the secret.
What a cool trade secret. I love that.
Spray your hands right before
Spray
you
your
go on.
hands.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just soaking.
yeah.
Spray them until they drip.
Oh yeah,
When you clap
saturated.
and yeah, just
They
clap.
think you're sweaty, but it's perfume. Mhm.
You can tell them I sweat perfume.
We
The
like spray
fancy
ourselves, but it depends on the outfit. Sometimes like I will spray my crotch just for shits and gigs for full fantasy. But depending on what I'm wearing, you can definitely see the spray spots. You gotta that's why hands are last. You gotta do everything else first, let it dry, and then hands right before you go on.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My favorite is even whenever we travel for a couple of days, Lennon will air out her pads just on the floor and then just douse them.
Febreze.
Douse them with Febreze.
Yeah.
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 And I'm like, the first time I saw her do it, I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm cleaning my pads." I was like, "Are you cleaning your pads?"
Hey, I don't question it because that is how I do it. I don't want to think about
Oh my
I don't want to think
gosh.
about what's growing in my pads. There's Febreze in there. That's all that
Ugh.
matters.
Yeah, yeah, as long as it smells nice. All right, well, I think that's all of our questions for today. Honestly, we could keep doing these forever, I feel like.
Slay.
We
Yeah.
still have more questions. We still have 7 questions left. Which means we've done not even... I can't math. I don't know. Anyway.
Object permanence and math.
Truly.
I didn't go to school for math.
I can't... I do have a friend who has like a master's degree. Well, their bachelor's is in math. He just corrected me about this the other day. His bachelor's is in math, and then he has a master's degree, I think, in like higher education or something like that. But anyway.
I have a friend who also, their bachelor degrees in math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. You know what I think we should start in 2023?
Oh yeah, what's your New Year's resolution? Well, what are we starting first? Yes, go.
I think we as a society need to bring about maths. I think the UK is onto something. You know? Multiple maths. We should just call it, they have a degree in maths.
I like it plural too. No, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Also consensual homeownership. I think people should be asking their houses if they want to be bought.
I want to eat an edible with you, Queenie.
Playing a game, I just posted a clip on this, but I was playing a game called Critter Crops where like you inherit this house and you go and there's like...
Is it like the Sorting Hat? It has to pick you too?
There's an object outside of the house that's like, you're like, hey, how do I get into this house I now own? And that it says like, you have to persuade it to open. And I'm like, honestly, I think consent is sexy. And I think we should bring that about. So...
You know what we should do for one of our episodes? You should eat an edible and I should go smoke a lot. And then we should sit here and see what other thoughts we can come up with.
April 20th will be a slay episode for us.
The content writes itself. See?
It does.
Welcome to Twitchy. It's gonna...
Welcome to
the
Twitchy.
content's just gonna flow, y'all.
It literally... Yeah, I was like... Yeah, anyway. I was in somebody's chat. I told like my group of friends that we were doing this. And then I popped into one of their chats yesterday and they were so excited. They were like, can I talk to my chat about the thing that you're doing that rhymes with witchy? And I was like, yes. And everybody was like, I'm so glad somebody's doing that. I was like, me too! And I'm glad that you're glad because I'm glad that you're glad and we can be glad together.
I'm just happy to be here.
We are here, we're queer, we're taking on this year!
Oh! Yeah, that was a good one. Slay. Yeah.
All right.
How can you top that?
Honestly, it's still true.
What Queenie
Stay
said.
tuned for our next episode where we're gonna have a special guest. I'm so excited!
Oh,
first special guest!
Yeah, I'm excited. Ooh, I need to make a new overlay. Ooh, yeah, this will be exciting.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Well, until next time, my beautiful babes, this has been Twitchy, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bow, 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 bow.